Welcome back to the Fab Four Kitchen. In today's episode, I'm going to teach you how to make a Mediterranean baked salmon dish. I know a lot of you probably aren't cooking fish at home, and that's because it's either dry, too fishy, or it makes your entire house smell gross for a couple of days. I'm going to teach you the basics of this baked fish recipe that you can use multiple ways. You can make it as a tar baked fish with preserved lemon, you can do Mediterranean with olives and capers, or you can keep it simple with cherry tomatoes and shallots. So let's get started. Once you learn how to bake your fish in olive oil and aromatics, you will never look back. It's going to give you the most flaky, delicious, juicy fish without the fishy smell, and it will never be dried out. So you're gonna start by adding 2 to 4 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil to your baking sheet, and then you wanna add aromatics. At this point, you can add garlic, shallot, onion, whatever your favorites are, whatever you have in your kitchen, and you don't really need a recipe for this one, which is why I love this technique the most. So I'm gonna use a shallot today, and about 4 garlic cloves. You can mince them, you can chop them, you can leave them whole. If you like whole garlic cloves that have roasted in olive oil to spread on sourdough toast or just to eat and enjoy, this is a great recipe for that. So first things first, I'm gonna thinly slice an entire shallot and add it to this baking pan. Then I'm gonna add 4 to 6 minced garlic cloves. Once you have your olive oil, shallot, and garlic in your baking sheet, you're gonna wanna add cherry or grape tomatoes. And we're gonna roast these at 400 for 15 to 20 minutes until they're jammy and sweeter. So they're kind of burst and create the sauce in which we'll poach our salmon. You're gonna wanna add about 2 cups of your favorite tomatoes. We're going Mediterranean with today's salmon, and I'm adding 1/4 a cup of Kalamata olives, and a pinch of salt, maybe 2 or 3. Once you've added your olive oil, your aromatics, garlic, onion, shallot, tomatoes, and any type of umami or briny flavor you'd like to add, like a Kalamata olive, a green olive, or a caper, you're gonna wanna mix it around with 1 to 2 tablespoons of white wine vinegar, red wine vinegar, or sherry vinegar, and then throw it in your 400-degree oven for 15 to 20 minutes until your kitchen smells like magic. A great activity for kids in the kitchen is breaking asparagus. Where it naturally breaks off of the stem is the perfect spot to remove any of the hard fibrous end, and it's a perfect activity for kids to get involved in your kitchen. So break the ends of your asparagus off, put it on a stainless steel roasting pan. This avoids endocrine disrupting chemicals, and then we'll season it up and throw it in our oven with the tomatoes. I love pairing asparagus with fish because it cooks so quickly, and with this specific recipe or baking technique, I'm gonna get all that delicious Mediterranean sauce to pour over the top. So simply adding a little olive oil and sea salt, and these are good to go. We're gonna wait to put them in closer to when we add our fish to our tomato sauce, but we'll set them to the side so they're ready. Next, let's prepare our salmon. You can use simply just a little salt and pepper on both sides of your salmon, or if you'd like to level it up, a little shake of smoked paprika, cumin, and coriander really gives us that Mediterranean flavor. So again, as simple as you'd want this to be, this baking technique can be used with cod, it can be used with halibut. It's gonna keep your fish moist and flaky. It's not gonna make your apartment or your house smell, and it's really easy if you're having guests over or trying to feed a lot of people in your family. So there was a fascinating study published in 2017 in the Frontiers of Psychology that looked at omega-3 fatty acids and adolescent cognitive development. And what they found was that children who were supplemented with omega-3 had improved cognitive function in learning, retention, and language skills. Now, when we look at how much children are supplemented with omega-3s, the average for toddlers is 300 milligrams a day. The average for an older kid is about 600 milligrams a day. But I want to encourage you to serve up oily, omega-3 rich fish to your kids, because if you were just to give your child 3 ounces of salmon a week, that's 2 grams or 2,000 milligrams in 1 serving of salmon. So let's serve up fish alongside our omega-3 supplementation, or if you're not supplementing, I want to encourage you to serve up fish to your kids at least once to twice a week. When it comes to omega-3 fatty acids, the type matters. So there are long-chain omega-3 fats like EPA and DHA, and there are short-chain omega fats like ALA. Short-chain omega fats are going to be in chia seeds and walnuts and flax seeds. Your long-chain omega-3s, your DHA and EPA, where all the literature points to it being anti-inflammatory, great for cardiovascular health, improving your immune system, improving pregnancy outcomes, those are all based on long-chain omega-3s. We are talking about oily fish, salmon, sardines, we are talking about algae and other types of seafood. So I want to be very clear that I want you eating long-chain omega-3s. Are the flax, chia, and walnuts great for you? Absolutely. But it's the long-chain omega-3s from seafood that are going to give you all those great outcomes. Much like non-heme iron, we need to convert short-chain omega-3s like ALA into long chain, and we're not very good at it. We only convert about 5% of our short chain fatty acids into the beneficial long chain omega-3s. So you wanna plate up seafood at least once to twice a week, and this recipe is gonna help you do that. So it's been about 15 minutes in the oven, and I'm going to make some room for the salmon. Oh, and all of those roasted tomatoes. We're just gonna make some room and slide these guys right in so that they are all the way down in the pan. Next up is our asparagus. We're gonna throw those in with the salmon for another 15 minutes or so. I hate when my herbs go bad. This is the ultimate hack to keep your herbs fresh for at least 10 days. Here's how you do it. You're gonna wanna rinse off your herb of choice. Remove the herbs from the stems. You don't want the woody part. This is an Italian parsley, so I'll cut off the tops. Then I'll look to remove any type of stem. We don't want those. When you take the wet herbs, wrap them in a dry paper towel. It absorbs the water from the herbs, but just puts just the right amount of water on the paper towel to keep it cool and crisp in your refrigerator for days. My favorite way to level up any dish I make at home is fresh herbs. Today I'm gonna add the Italian parsley that we prepared, some basil, some dill, sprinkle it on top. It makes you look like a fancy Food Network chef even when you're not. So let's plate up the Fab Four: protein, fat, fiber, and greens. The protein in this plate is our wild salmon. The fat is that olive oil base in which we poached our salmon. The fiber is coming from the base layer of asparagus, plus the added tomatoes, Kalamata olives. That's gonna add a little bit more healthy fat as well. And then we're going to add greens in the form of all of our chopped herbs. We have basil, dill, and Italian parsley. So let's plate up the salmon right on top. The best part of this dish is all of the sauce. So I am going to grab a spoon to get that goodness. There we go. We're getting the tomatoes, the garlic, the onion, or the shallot in this case. And now for the best part, all of our herbs. And there we go. Restaurant quality roasted fish in your kitchen. It doesn't smell fishy, and the reason why is because we poached it in all of those aromatics, and I had my fishmonger cut the skin off the salmon before I baked it.